What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a great morning. My lunatic French, I think that we are probably at the precipice of a pretty big run. Is it going to be that life-changing sort of move? Well, it's complicated, and it takes a lot more than what we currently have happening in order to make that happen. And that is full disclosure. Now, what do we have that's working? We have Garuda X, Juris Protocol. We've got TerraPump.fun. We have protocols here that are working. We have Lunk Dash in case you need a wallet. We have an ecosystem that is slowly but surely being developed. Now, what we don't have is a reduction in the supply. And to be fair, we don't need to have a reduction in the supply. It helps ultimately with reducing and creating value for the remaining supply of tokens. However, if we go from, let's call it 350 million market cap to 3.5 billion market cap, that's a 10x no matter how we look at it. So the question is one of value. If we go to 35 billion, that is a 100x from where we are right now. Could that happen? In a perfect world, yes. What would that mean on the charts? Well, it would be more. It would be more than what I gave you, but it would still be just a little bit shy of that 1 penny number. That's how deep that is. Now, if you cut that in half, if you cut the amount of supply in half, and you still do that 100x, then that actually would go up 200x, and that's much bigger, and then that puts us literally at 1 penny. So there is a path forward, and we could get something like that to happen. Now, it would take 10,000x from where we are right now, 20,000x, in fact, to get to $1. It's a long way, and it's not exactly 20,000x, but you get my point. It's a long, long, long way off. Now, again, if we reduce the supply, then it makes it easier. But, you know, we've got to get to a spot where we can do something like that. So I'm going to take you around, and let's look at it. Let's see what's going on, and make sure you hit that like button. All right, so before we get started, Trollbits is your place to go. Look, it's free every single day. All you have to do is come here and engage with it. I've submitted some proposals to have over here some news, so maybe some SHIB news every day, and over here some Lunk news every day, so that you can just pop in here and you don't have to scroll or do anything. And I know, why am I complaining about scrolling? Well, it's about it being right there in front of you and incentivizing you to click on the link. So it would be really cool if we could take, daily news update right here and include any SHIB. Then you throw an ad up here, and then same thing over here, Luna Classic daily news, or one of my videos for that matter. And then up here, another ad as well. So I just think that we could populate this a little bit better. I've talked to the team, and we'll see what happens. Might make it a little bit easier for you, but every day come here and engage with this content, and guess what? You're going to be rewarded. You're going to be rewarded by burns. Now, as far as meme coins go, as you can see, Juris had a little run today. Terra, but Terra's down. You know, we do have to talk about that. It is down, but, you know, it's going to have a bigger move for a reversal when you're looking at. Now, remember, I do have all of mine staked right now, so it's not in my total. And what I'm really waiting for is for that flippening, if you will. I have about 7.5 million Lunk right here. And then for USTC, I basically split it in half. So what I'm looking at right now is how do I get from USTC over here to Terra Luna Classic? How do I make that, how do I get that big pump out of it? You know, that's what I'm looking for. And I don't know the answer to that yet. Just, I think a little patience. We'll get the charts in just a moment. No proposals currently up. Burns are 349 million. It's based on that last couple of days over there where we had the really nice burns for 2 days in a row. We haven't had any burns, not significant or appreciable burns in anything for, about 4 days now. Of course, that included the weekend, so those things are to happen. Now, again, we're riding this out, getting a little bit more of the Terra. We'll see what happens with that. The winners will be announced tomorrow. I've been a little bit delayed in this, but there's 2 winners for $100 each. I'm going to send those in today, so you guys will have it in your wallets by tomorrow or the next day for Terra Casino. Now, as you can see from the price action for the last 2 days, we've had red candles. That usually means that there's some kind of dip happening, but may I just kind of illustrate here that what we've got playing out right now is basically your typical Elliott wave that's happening as we speak right now, leading to maybe, just maybe, a big breakout. I don't think that breakout, the third breakout on the impulse wave, probably not going to be as big as the first one. The third one is the one that you're looking at for the largest one. But, again, kind of move this around, you look at it, that's what it looks like. And I think that it's going to continue. I think that we're in a spot right now where we could see a dip, by the way. The markets are wonky. We had a nice little run. As you can see over here, at one point, not that long ago, we were up about 50 billion on the day. It's down to 30 billion right now because USA coming online, and USA is not known for their ability to hold a bag for any length of time. As you can see, this is the 1 hour chart right now on Bitcoin, and the sell-off is from almost 95,600 all the way down to 94,800. Now I have buy orders set up down below, but we're gonna have to get there for it to matter. But how does it apply to Luna Classic? Well, not strong. And by the way, this is not a point of resistance here. This is just a line drawn. So this is not something that I think matters that much. But when you zoom out, you're still generally pretty happy with the pump that you've gotten so far. Again, I want to see that big surge. I want to see it come up to the top of this range up here at 4060. Let's call it 4068. I want to see a breakout above that to inspire confidence. But it's actually happening right now. Now, you might say to yourself, well, no, actually it went down like this right here. It's going down. And that's the way you talk in my head when you say dumb shit like that. But the reality is, every single time we have a surge, it's followed by a little bit of a take profit before we surge again. So all this is just another surge and a little bit of taking profit along the way. Not everybody's here for the same reason. Not everybody's here for the moon. Some people are just here for a pump, and then they're going to dump. And they're allowed to trade. They're allowed to invest as well. So when you look at this, you haven't seen that huge move. But again, I told you before that you got this before. This is what happened the same time. This is really kind of a very similar pattern to what we had right over here before that big move happened. And it looks like that'll happen, but it took a few days to get up to the top of that range. So once we break out and actually break out, then be a couple days before we actually get into that range. And that's providing that people are in that buying mood and that people want to support and buy Luna Classic. We'll see whether or not that's the case. I do think that it is ultimately, but there's a rotation: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and then the rest of it. So XRP probably moving into that realm, but XRP I think goes along with altcoins still at this point. I think Solana and Ethereum, they're the ones that actually drive Web3, so a little bit different. But nonetheless, I think we're ready for another surge. As far as USTC goes, basically at this point, I just want to see it surge. Like, I haven't seen anything to inspire my confidence that it's just going to... I'm doing this based on hope and prayer, by the way, that we're going to get a big surge up here. I don't, again, I've said this before, I don't see any reason for it, so I don't know that it will happen, but I am confident that we might. And that's the best that I can say about it. Again, this is not a line of support or anything like that. This is just my prediction that there's going to be a big move and that it will fulfill this downward facing momentum that we've had. And not to put too fine a point on it, but if you move this down here and start to look at a little bit more, you can actually see where this is a pretty aggressive sort of look right here. But it could end up being a little bit less. We could look at kind of a move down into this sort of range right here, right around 2 cents, 1.8 cents, and I'd be good with that move as long as we don't have a huge move on Luna Classic, because basically we're just trying to flip this. We're just trying to flip this, create an opportunity to accumulate some more Luna Classic, because that ultimately is the big thing in the ecosystem. So maybe we see a good move, maybe we don't. I don't know. I do think ultimately we're going to see something huge happen. As far as volume goes, we're down on volume at 10 million and market cap 350 million. Same thing over here, down 13% in volume, market cap down to 70. So yeah, I mean, we've got a ways to go. Now, if you want to trade futures for Terra Luna Classic, weeks is your place to go. Let me also show you something that's very, very, very So this is your futures trading chart over here on weeks. I'm looking for a negative funding rate. If I get a negative funding rate over here, I'm going to ape into it. And by the way, it's just because it's going to give you a realized P&L immediately. It's not a, there's no exact science. But what I do think could happen here is you see that isolated leverage of only 2x right there. I think I can do a long on Luna Classic with very low leverage, very low, and maybe accumulate some of that realized P&L if I can get a negative funding rate out of it for a little period of time. Maybe, maybe we'll see something happen there. Don't know for sure, but if you're looking to trade futures, then weeks is your place to go. And remember, the more leverage you put into it, the more risky it is. Now, of course, the reward is bigger, but it's, really what I would be looking for in this context for me, if this were me. I would just be looking at a low leverage position, maybe to just kind of hold on to for a while and just see what happens. If you have, 10 million Luna Classic, that represents, $600 or $650 right now. If you went into a long position and you 3x that right now, then you have about $2 million or $2,000 worth of risk involved. If it goes down, you could get liquidated. If it goes up, you could get rewarded greatly. You never really know what's going to happen. That's why leverage trading is so important. So if you haven't already, consider doing some leverage trading. And that's it. That's the show. Sign up at Weeks. Sign up at KCEX. Any one of these places is going to help you out. It's not financial advice, but I'm always